I've been thinking a little bit about different personalities. Personality, if you really boil it down, is a learned behavior. It really is. I don't want to discount the genetic aspect of someone's personality, but that does play a pretty major role as well. But a lot of it is learned behavior. When you were a child learning to walk, you were modeling your parents' by ambulation, and you were learning to do that as well. And as you grew and learned to speak, your parents were teaching you words, what they were meaning, and how to use your words, right? Taught you things that you should say, things you shouldn't say, right? And as you started to grow, they started to see thinking patterns grow in you, and they tried to correct the ones that may be in error and try and guide and mold you. That's what parents do for their children. So you're starting to learn, watching your parents interact with other people, how they interact, their speech patterns, things they say, things they don't say. And then you hit the big time, you go to school. And there's a whole other world there of interaction.
Yep.
You're starting to see what communication unfiltered looks like, right? You hit that school board, man. You start to learn the brutality of what it is to be amongst other people outside of your immediate family.
Right.
Right? And that's where they start to learn things like body language, dictating someone's mood by not with their words, but how they're presenting themselves and how they're acting and responding. In a conversation, this guy's kind of turning away from me and watching the door and he wants to leave, let him go. You learn that eventually, right? It's not something you just know as a small child. You learn that. You pick up on that. And as that child grows, they start blending all these elements. People of influence in their lives during their formative years, their social interaction. And they all come together to kind of put a personality type together. There's one major contributor to a person's personality we haven't talked about yet, and that's wounds. Something EJ had told me about, maybe stop and think about recently. The thing about quite a bit is wounds. Wounds have an impact on people's thinking patterns.
Yeah.
It has an impact on how they interact with others around them. If you have a physical wound, you protect that. You get a good gash on your finger, you put a Band-Aid on there, you might even need stitches. You went from going around about your day unconcerned to now protecting that finger because that thing hurts, right?
Yeah.
You got a good deep cut, you're not really thinking about it until boom, out, that hurts. Causes a reaction. Instantly causes a reaction. And it changes causes a change in behavior. Wow, I can't speak this morning. I keep stuff in my front pocket here. If I got a big old gash in that finger, I'm probably moving my keys somewhere else. Moving my wallet somewhere else. I'm not going to try and dig in there where I got 8 stitches across my finger. I'm changing some of my behaviors around that wound. I've gone into defensive mode, protecting my boo-boo, right?
Yep.
I'll use my kids for an example. When my kids were growing up, if one of them had a bruise, the other ones eventually would notice it. You guess what they would do?
Hone in on it.
Does that hurt? And jab their thumb right into it.
Yeah.
They may have gotten it from me, I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. Instinctively, my kids learned, if I got a bruise, I gotta wear a long sleeve shirt or put a pair of pants on instead of shorts, because the vultures are coming. They went into a defensive posture to hide that wound. And we do that too, don't we?
Yep. We
We go
do.
into defensive behavior to protect the wound. We try and hide it. The same goes for wounds you can't see, the emotional wounds.
Yes.
You want to protect that wound, prevent further injury. So you go into defensive mode. Men are usually a little more apt to try and conceal that wound than women, right?
Yes, they are.
You gotta be macho, gotta be that man. Ain't no wound there. Let's be honest. We are all wounded at some point in time, somewhere.
Yep.
Yes, we are.
We're all in various stages of healing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I walk around hemorrhaging blood, but everyone's been wounded,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And no two people are the exact same, right? Different personalities, different experiences, different wounds. So you don't really know how they're going to react when that wound receives pain stimuli. When that wound is poked, what's going to happen?
Right?
You don't know. They may not even know.
It's true.
They might not even understand it yet. They may not fully comprehend. This has been there for so long that this pain reaction to stimuli, it's who I am.
Yeah.
I don't even know it was rooted in a wound. They may not understand that. So we not know how they're going to react and what is a healthy way and what is a non-healthy way to react. We might not always see that. We may not see that the way we're reacting to this is not healthy. I may not look like it, but I'm a master mason. You know, I can dig a trench, pour a foundation, put a reinforced brick wall up, complete with soundproofing and fire retardation before you can finish annoying me. I am good at it. Like, whoosh. I know that's my reaction. I have to deal with that and not build those walls.
Yeah.
But that is a response to one of my wounds. Instant walls.
Right.
Force fields up, and getting through that.
Get it.
But it's different for every other person. Every person individual. Some people might be a yeller. Some might be a turn and walk away. Some might want to go on the attack. You don't know. We've all seen this kind of behavior, right?
Right.
We don't know what's happening all the time, but we can recognize that's out of a wound. So how do we deal with someone who's wounded? That's the topic I want to talk about today.
Love.
The first thing is recognizing that there is a wound.
Right.
Yeah, that's what he taught me. He's like, that's not a wound, man. I'm like, duh. EJ pointed out, he's just not that annoying. That's a wound. That's flexing. That's pain. Oh, I thought he was just, won't say it. That's what I won't say it, but recognize that there is a wound. We can get really caught up in their reaction to the pain stimuli that we don't know that there is a wound there causing their reaction. People have wounds in various stages of healing. People do their best to hide those wounds. And for some people, it's very obvious they are wounded. Some people, you may not have any idea until you blindly stumble across it and poke that button. And whew, what was that? What happened? What just went down? Everything was fine. All of a sudden, boom, all falls apart. Recognizing their reaction can help you understand the type of wound sometimes. Pay attention to what the reaction is. Sometimes you can backtrack that to the wound. If someone's always trying to micromanage every aspect of something, that's usually a trust issue. They've been injured in some way, they've lost trust, and now they're going to manage every aspect and no, you can't touch this. I'm going to manage this because I don't trust you to do it. The opposite can be the exact same thing. Someone got hurt, trying to handle something, and just give up. Not even going to try and manage it. They don't trust anything, they don't care. Some who tend to cut people off, don't even recognize their existence in the world. You're out of my life. Those people usually have abandonment issues. If I kick you out, you can't leave me. It was my decision to boot you out of my life. You ain't leaving me because I don't let you in. You can't go. It also can be said the opposite of that as well. Someone who's so super tight, clingy, never let you out of their sight. Because if you try and run, I'll be right next to you. You can't get away from me. If you start running, so will I. So here's the hardest part. You recognize there's a wound. You've hoped to backtrack it a little bit. You may not understand it yet. Here's the hardest part. You cannot get mad at them for being wounded.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're all wounded.
Right.
You can't get mad at them for being
That's right.
wounded. They didn't do it to themselves. Someone else wounded them.
That's right.
No one chose to have this wound,
That's
right? So So it's very unfair for you to be angry at someone because they're wounded. So we can't get mad at them for being wounded. Can we get mad at them for how they react to the wound? Everybody reacts differently. Everyone reacts a little differently. If a wounded person is close to you, forgiveness is to come up more than once.
Yes, it will.
It might come up more than once a day. So, sometimes this person's had a wound a very long time and they don't see the pattern. They don't see that their behavior is actually a reaction and has become an automated response to the wound. Pain responses are almost always out of balance to the stimuli received, right?
Yeah, that's true.
When you bump your little cut, do you have to go, ah! Make a big scene? No. Ooh, that hurt. Okay, I'm good now. You don't need to blow it up proportion, but we do, don't we?
Yeah,
We
we do.
do. Hey, honey, can you open this for me? You can open your own Funyuns. I'm sorry. It's only one finger that's injured. You don't need to go totally lame duck on us here. I do. I'll admit to it. Like, I want to. It hurts my fingy. I don't want to. So, but anyway, it's an automated response, and sometimes after the dust settles down, there's going to be some apologies on both sides.
Absolutely.
There's going to be forgiveness on both sides
Yeah.
to come back together.
Yeah.
But for the meantime, you're going to have to look past that reaction to the wound. You have to do your best to look past their reaction and look at the person. Look at the wound. And there'll be a time you can come together later on and deal with the responses.
Right.
Next thing is prayer. Prayer is the utmost importance when dealing with wounds. Holy Spirit knows what the wound is.
Yep.
You might not know what it is. Holy Spirit knows. He lives inside of you. He can give you insight, give you wisdom, give you direction. Maybe they're playing defense on that to protect that wound, and Holy Spirit can show you where that wound is to help you unnecessarily poke at it or accidentally stumble into it. You can get some insight on how to attack this issue and help them a little bit. It may just be your job to pray for them to recognize they have a wound. They might not recognize that this response is from the wound itself. We talked that a couple times already. You might need us to pray, the Holy Spirit, show them that they have a wound. Show them where that wound is. When you keep a Band-Aid on your finger for days on end, doing chores, washing your hands, showering, going to bed, going to work the next day. Now a week later, you rip that thing off. It is grody under there, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's soggy, it's wrinkly, the skin color doesn't match the rest of your finger.
Yep.
There's a time when a wound needs to be exposed to air and exposed to light so I can get a healthy scab on there. So a healthy healing can start.
Very good.
If the Lord wants you to be a conduit for that healing, He'll tell you. It might not be you. You might just be that person they vent to. There is someone who's there to help, and it's Jesus. The Holy Spirit will help guide you and navigate this process. If the Lord chooses you to be that conduit, He'll show you how to do it delicately, how to navigate it. So you're not just walking up and, does that hurt? Does that hurt? Does that hurt? Eventually, it's not going to hurt because you'll kill the nerve, right? I'll just keep pushing that button. One of the guys I work with used to have a button that I knew if I pushed, I can get a reaction every time. And there was a long time that I used to walk by at random just to see what would happen. And he finally asked me, "Why do you keep doing this to me?" And my all wisdom knowing said, "If I push that button long enough, that nerve's going to die and you won't react to it." Technically, that's right, but is that the right way to do it?
Maybe not.
Probably not. Dancing on that nerve is not how you bring healing.
That's right.
Killing the nerve off does not fix the problem. It makes a dead nerve in a dead spot in someone's heart. That's what it does.
Yep.
So,
Good.
if the Lord does choose you to be a conduit to help with this healing process, remember to listen to them. Listen to them. Let them talk about it. You may not even have to say that much. They might just need to vent, and they'll tell you all about it. Guys, this is not the time that you get to zone out now. That's not the time. Pay attention. Listen to the words they're saying. Listen for some backstory. Ask the Holy Spirit, give me some insight on this. How can I help? When it's your time to talk, that's the time to encourage. That's the time to build up. That's the time to point them to Jesus. We talked about recently in Bible study testimonies. How testimony means do it again. And how your testimony builds your faith and someone else's.
Yes.
Yes.
If you have a testimony similar to their wound, tell them. This is how it played out for me. This is how the Lord has helped me. Am I done? Maybe not. Maybe you're not all the way through this. But you're in a various stage of healing. And you're ahead of them, so you can show them. This is the process. You can guide them and mentor them how to walk this process out. Build them up with your words. So, and that's the last step is, it's an important one. Don't get discouraged from lack of their growth, lack of their healing. You might not see the healing process. And it's not our job to heal it. That's Jesus' job. It's his time frame. We can't get frustrated because, it's been 2 weeks and they're still haven't got over that divorce yet. Really? Come on. It's Jesus' time. It's his time frame. Don't get discouraged. Don't get frustrated if you're not seeing what you think is measurable progress.
Right.
We cannot heal someone's emotional wounds. Jesus has to. So let's do a quick recap. Recognize that the behavior is a pain response to an emotional wound. Don't get mad at them for being wounded. Forgive them as often as needed. Jesus is all about forgiveness. And if you want to be a conduit for healing, you got to be like Jesus. Pray for insight, wisdom, and understanding. The Holy Spirit will guide you. Build them up. This isn't a one-time thing either. It's a continual process.
That's right.
Continual reinforcement of them, holding them up, propping them up,
Good.
guiding them through it.
Yep.
And don't get discouraged. It's Jesus' job, and he has perfect timing. Our job is to help them find the healing in Jesus.
Yep.
We're pointing
There you
them
go.
to Jesus. He's the healer, and we just got to guide them there down the road.
Yep.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Thank you. Yes, it's good.